I want to make this one as a in a zoom screen. Inchialra.
The Zoom screen?
Idi.
The screen share. That, right? Just why can't you just share the screen?
ఇవన్నీ కనిపిస్తాయి కదా ట్యాబ్స్ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేసినప్పుడు.
Yeah. This is where your old window is, and this is the new window.
Okay.
Just screen share this.
ఓపెన్ చేస్తాను అదే స్క్రీన్ షేర్ తెలుసు. థ్యాంక్స్. ఇవన్నీ కనిపిస్తాయి కదా ట్యాబ్స్ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేసినప్పుడు.
This is where your old window is.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Hare Krishna devotees, Danda Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Sorry, there are some technical issues. Thank you for joining for ISKCON Richmond program. And today is the last session of prayers to the darling to the Vrindavan Dham. And His Grace Sankrant Prabhuji joined, and now we'll be hearing a class from him.
Yeah, Prabhu, we'll get started in a few minutes.
Super. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
As all of us, most of us know, today, this weekend is the last weekend for this year, Damodar Mas. And let us take advantage of this. And tomorrow onwards, Bhishma Panchaka is going to start for 5 days. Hope everyone is having a blissful Damodar Mas so far by Radharani's mercy.
Yes, Prabhu, surely it has been.
So Prabhuji, we are ready, Prabhuji, whenever you are ready.
Yeah, Prabhu. Look, just 2 more minutes.
No rush, Prabhuji, no rush. I just wanted to inform you. Please
Yeah, sure.
take your own time, Prabhuji. Before Prabhuji joined, just wanted to give a brief introduction about the Prabhuji. Those who have not joined the previous classes, just want to give an introduction. His Grace Shankaran Prabhuji is a senior disciple of His Holiness Radhanaswami Maharaj. He has been serving and he has been in ISKCON movement for more than 3 decades, and he has been serving in different levels like preaching, management, and book distribution, and so many services. Prabhuji has been very heavily engaged, and we are very fortunate to have Prabhuji. It's very hard to get Prabhuji's association because Prabhuji's schedule is very busy, and we are very fortunate to have Prabhuji's session for a 4-part series, that too. And let's have Prabhuji's association and get the nectar from Prabhuji's class. And thank you so much, all the congregation. Thank you so much, His Grace Shankaran Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for giving me an opportunity. And again, once again, I'm a little sorry for delay.
No, not at all, Prabhuji, not at all.
Get started. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamishcha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamisha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you very much all the devotees for taking out your time on this Saturday morning and joining this Saturday feast. This month of Damodar, which every year is very much celebrated by the devotees, is an opportunity for all of us to enhance our Krishna consciousness, enhance our remembrance of Krishna, and also it's an opportunity to actually make spiritual progress by increasing our devotional practices. According to our Vaishnava Siddhanta or philosophy, the auspicious tithis like Ekadashi, the Janmashtami, God Purnima, these are the tithis which are considered non-different from the Supreme Lord. And any spiritual effort or any spiritual activity done on those days holds many fold, benefit or result. So even slight endeavor on those days can actually lead a person to perfection of life. We hear from the Puranas that the glories of such tithis. And in that sense, the entire month of Kartik is actually glorious. Because in any of those days, 30 tithis, if a person puts little bit effort to make spiritual progress, Krishna reciprocates in a great way. As long as a person is not committing offenses to devotees, offenses to the holy dham, offenses to the holy name of the Lord, a person can actually make tremendous spiritual progress by simply performing devotional service in the month of Kartik, or enhancing their devotional activity or devotional service in the month of Kartik. So let's take the opportunity to actually absorb ourselves for some time to hear this wonderful, pastimes of the Lord. Krishna's pastimes are actually unlimited, like an ocean. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, it's actually like a vast sky, unlimited sky. The birds can fly as per their capacity. So based on our own capacity, we can actually try to fly. Now, that means we can try to glorify the Supreme Lord. We can chant his glories based on our own capacity. We can hear or engage ourselves in devotional service based on our capacity. Krishna in Rajabhumi performs so many beautiful pastimes which are sufficient to actually attract the attention of every living entity on the surface of the earth. Not only surface, in fact, throughout the creation, all the living entities can be attracted to Krishna's pastimes simply by hearing them. So this pastime of Damodar Leela is just one of the unlimited ocean of Krishna's pastimes. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is regarded as a condensed form of milk, like a condensed milk, Shukadeva Goswami was just feeding Parikshit Maharaj this condensed milk because Parikshit Maharaj didn't have much time. But actually, there is unlimited ocean of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, in Mathura, in Dwarka. What we have in Srimad Bhagavatam is only a very condensed form and very few of those pastimes, in contrast to what Krishna actually performed. And simply focusing on this one particular pastime of the Lord in this month of Damodar, one can actually attain perfection of life. One may think that we have been hearing If you especially been practicing Krishna consciousness for a few years, you may think that every year we are hearing the same pastime. For the whole month we are hearing same pastime. So what is the use? The thinking that what is the use of hearing same pastime again and again indicates our diseased nature, as Rupa Goswami explains in Upadeshamrita. When a person is covered, his tongue is covered with jaundice, pitta. When the tongue is covered with the pitta disease, then the person cannot taste the sugar cane. The sugar cane juice appears to be very bitter. When a person is able to relish eating something, say for example, if you give some hungry person gulab jamun to eat, he'll never ask why. Why are you giving me? If you give him a plate full of gulab jamun, he'll never ask why you giving me so many gulab jamuns. No. Because as long as there's the appetite, there's the hunger, and there's the relish, there'll be no question of why. But the question arises when something appears to be bitter. If you give a bitter melon to somebody to eat every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, person will ask why. Why are you giving me bitter? So Krishna's pastimes, which are actually unlimitedly sweet, appear to be sometimes bitter to conditioned souls because of the disease. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, demonstrating us how we can perfect our life. He demonstrated from his own example what it is like for a pure devotee of the Lord, a person who's completely purified from all the contamination. When he or she hears Krishna's pastimes, how do they feel? Lord Chaitanya, when he would hear the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam, mostly Gadadhar Pandit, he used to read those pastimes to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya would, when he would hear once the entire pastime, he would tell Gadadhar, Gadadhar, repeat it. And Gadadhar would repeat the same pastime immediately. And as soon as he finished second time repeating, Lord Chaitanya would say, repeat it. In a row, Lord Chaitanya would hear the same pastime of Dhruva Maharaj for 100 times. And he would still never be satiated. He would hear the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj over and over again for 100 times, just at one stretch. Just imagine if we were to discuss the pastime of Damodar Leela, even 10 times in a row, most of the devotees will drop out and say, Prabhuji just beating around the bush, just leave, let's go. We have better things to do. But Lord Chaitanya would hear 100 times the same pastime. So this indicates that in conditioned state, because we don't have taste, our taste, the real taste for Krishna Katha is actually covered by the disease of sense gratification. Therefore, sometimes we ask question, why? Why we are hearing same pastime again and again? Satyavat Muni says, simply by remembering this form in this one particular pastime of the Lord, I can reject all the other boons and benedictions. In fact, he says, Kimanya, what are the use of any other boons beside this particular boon, if I can remember Krishna's pastime as Damodar Leela? So Krishna, when he was in Vrindavan performing his pastimes as an ordinary child, he would behave just like an ordinary child, but that would give such an immense happiness You see, even children in this world, they charm the hearts of their parents. The parents naturally feel, so much joy on seeing children's mischievous behavior, seeing children's silly behavior. The parents naturally feel so much joy, even though the act may be repeated, by so many children, but every parent feels very much charmed by the actions of their children. And this is nothing but a sample, an insignificant sample of what Krishna does to give pleasure to his devotees in Vrindavan. He behaved like an ordinary child. And one of the favorite pastime of Krishna is he wants to steal the butter from the homes of gopis. Actually, our Vaishnavacharyas say Krishna loves to steal butter, which also represents our heart. Right now, our heart is actually hard-hearted. Our heart has become like a stone. Srimad Bhagavatam says steel frame. So Krishna is not delighted to steal the steel-like heart. He's very much attracted to soft butter-like heart. Chittachor. So he steals the butter from the neighboring homes of gopis. And in this way, he actually steals their heart, steals their mind completely. And gopis would often come to Mother Yashoda complaining that, Yashoda, your son is actually stealing from our home. Of course, they would never give any proof that Krishna is actually stealing, because Krishna would get away. Somehow, that by tricks, he would just get away. We have this beautiful pastime of the wife of Upananda, the brother of Nanda Maharaj. So she had kept a bell on the butter pots, so that if Krishna ever comes to steal, the bell would ring, and she would know that Krishna is here, and she would catch it. So Krishna, of course, is the Supreme Lord. Without his sanction, nothing can happen. But in Vrindavan, because devotees are, so much affectionate and so much loving to Krishna, even sometime it appeared that Krishna's will is transgressed. So Krishna, when he came to steal, along with his friends, he told the bell, do not ring. So Krishna was taking out the butter from the pot and giving it to his friends and even monkeys, and the bell did not ring. But the moment Krishna put the little butter in his mouth, the bell started ringing. And Krishna said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I told you not to ring. The bell said, my dear Lord, when you are eating, how is it that I don't ring? It is my duty to ring whenever you are eating. So this is the significance, when we ring the bell, right? That means Krishna is actually eating. By making an offering, we ring the bell. It means Krishna is eating. Whenever Krishna eats, the bell has to ring. So immediately, the wife of Upananda, she came and, she let other boys go, but she caught Krishna. Today I have good opportunity, because, every time, the gopis, wanted to catch Krishna, Krishna would just get away. So she caught Krishna, and she told, today I'm going to show Mother Yashoda. Because Yashoda always tells that my son, why he would steal in your home? He has ample butter in his own home. So today I'm going to show him. Your hands are smeared with butter and you're caught in our home. So she caught Krishna and she started dragging him to his home. On the way, she saw Nanda Maharaj coming. So she, felt a little embarrassed. She was going to complain to Yashoda, but she was holding Krishna by the hand, so she didn't want to tell. So she just covered Krishna with his own sari, so that Nanda Maharaj shouldn't see that. And this is a village etiquette. The ladies generally, she would not start telling Nanda Maharaj, see your son, I caught him red-handed. They would just go and tell the ladies. So they would be respectful behavior. So she just passed by and went to the home of Nanda Maharaj. And she told Yashoda, just see your son. Today I caught him red-handed. And she uncovered the sari. And she's talking to Mother Yashoda, I have caught him red-handed. He has butter in his hand. And Mother Yashoda was amazed to see that she was actually holding her own son. It was not Krishna. It was the son of Upananda. Upananda, this the name was Chandra, and Mother Yashoda said, just look at whom you have brought. It's your own son, Chandra. Somehow that you got into your head that my son is stealing. It is your own son who is stealing the butter. And when she looked at it, she was amazed. It was actually her own son. So she got utterly confused. And she walked out. And when she walked out, she saw it was actually Krishna whose hand she was holding. So Krishna changed his form to her son. And he said, Mother, listen, if you ever try to catch me in this way and take to my mother, then this time I have taken the form of your son, but next time I'll become your husband. And that'll be very embarrassing. So in this way, Krishna actually charms the hearts of his devotees. But anyway, Mother Yashoda was thinking, all the neighbors are coming and complaining that Krishna is eating butter in their home. There must be some truth in it, So why Krishna is doing like this? Maybe, she was thinking, because Nanda Maharaj had 900,000 cows. So according to Gargamuni, Nanda, Upananda, Vrishabhanu, these are just names, but in Vrindavan, these are upadhis also. So a person who owns 500,000 cows, he's called Upananda. And a person who owns 900,000 cows at least, he's called Nanda. And a person who owns 1,000,000 cows, maybe 100,000 more than what Nanda owns, he's called Vrishabhanu. So these are the upadhis according to Gargamuni also. So Nanda Maharaj, he had 900,000 cows. But among those 900,000 cows, he had 1,000 cows which were very special brand. And these cows were fed a very special grass, which was very fragrant grass, the grass would smell like the lotus. So these cows were fed only this special breed of grass. And these 1,000 cows, whatever milk they gave, this milk was fed to another 100 cows, which were very special. So these 100 cows would simply drink the milk from these 1,000 cows. Nothing else. They won't eat grass or anything else. They would just drink milk. And the milk from these 100 cows was fed to another 10 cows, which were very, very special cows. So these 10 cows will only drink milk from these 100 cows. And the milk from these 10 cows was fed to one extremely special cow. Her name was Padmagandha. She was fed the milk from these 10 cows. And her milk intensely smelled like lotus. The milk would have the fragrance of the lotus. Therefore, she was called Padmagandha. Padma means lotus and Gandha means fragrance. So her milk would give the fragrance of lotus. Therefore, she was called Padmagandha. So Mother Yashoda used to take the milk from this cow and make yogurt and churn that yogurt into butter. So that butter was actually very, very special butter. There is no comparison of that butter anywhere in any of the creation, material or spiritual creations. Because that butter represents, the intense love of Mother Yashoda. So of course, Mother Yashoda, she's the queen of Vraja. So she has a lot of maid servants. So the maid servant would do the job of, milking and churning the butter. So it was the day of Diwali. One time, Mother Yashoda, she thought, when Krishna was put to sleep in the morning, she was thinking, maybe I have these maid servants at home. The maid servants, they steal, they have the tendency to steal. So maybe they are stealing this good quality butter and they're leaving inferior quality of butter, and therefore Krishna is not liking it. So today I will churn the butter myself and preserve that butter. Thinking like this, Mother Yashoda, she had put Krishna to sleep and she started churning the butter. She herself started churning the butter. Although she's the queen of Vraja, but she was churning the butter. Srila Prabhupada actually explained in this regard that, even though Mother Yashoda, she's the queen, yet she is doing such, labor's task of churning the butter. And that's how generally the women in their village life, they would keep themselves healthy. They would grind the grains every day, whatever is required. They would grind the spices every day that were required. And they would churn the yogurt into the butter or ghee. That's how they would keep themselves busy and they would remain healthy. Because when a woman is, and not just a woman, any person who keeps himself busy, physically engaged, would, mostly not have any diseases. Nowadays, we have these yoga classes because people have practically no physical activity. We are living in the age of technology where everything is being done, by technology. I remember, we used to wash the clothes with the hand, squeeze the water from the clothes with the hand and dry them. That simple act actually, requires some physical endeavor. I've seen, even, in the initial, in the early childhood, I've seen even, my mother grinding with the stone. I remember one time I was traveling to South India in Subramaniam. In Subramaniam, I was living in the temple of ISKCON. The temple is there. So I was living in the temple. It was Vaishnava, Madhva Vaishnava's Matha, where they would also worship Lord Narasimhadev. So I was living in that ashram for a few days. And I saw in the morning, they were all Brahmanas who would cook actually the food for, Lord Narasimhadev and Lord Kartikeya. So they would cook every day early in the morning. I used to get up around 4:30 and then see that these people, they were chanting some mantra, then they were actually working in the kitchen. With the hand, they were grinding the rice and urad dal together to make, the atta. There were no machines. They were actually grinding with the hand, And I think they still do it till this day. They grind the grains with the hand and, they keep that for fermenting, and make the idli and dosa and everything from that. And they were all actually very healthy and strong. They were all, working in the kitchen. So Mother Yashoda, she decided to churn the butter herself. And also, when we are especially doing such activities, the consciousness actually enters into the food. So Mother Yashoda, when she's churning the butter, what she was doing was she was singing the songs of Krishna's beautiful pastimes. This used to be the custom in the Vedic times. In the Vedic times, the people, they would generally, especially the wealthy people and the kings or royal families, they would actually hire the sutas. Sutas means those who can compile. Sutas and magdas, they can actually compile the beautiful songs in their local vernacular language about the activities of the family members. So Mother Yashoda would also engage some sutas and magdas to compile. She would narrate them what Krishna did, activities, and they would compile the songs. So she would actually sing those songs, because singing a song becomes much easier. I remember in my childhood, my mother used to, tell many songs, many stories in the form of songs. I remember even that even that story that we have heard, that king was cutting mango and his finger got cut, and the minister said everything happens for the ultimate good. This whole story she would tell me, in the bed story, she would tell in the form of a song, singing that entire story. So Mother Yashoda, she would sing Krishna's pastimes, composed in the form of a song. So she's churning the butter, and at the same time she's singing the song of Krishna's glories, like we do Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We do the Kirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Similarly, Mother Yashoda was singing the songs of Krishna's pastime. And when she's singing, the bangles in her hand, they were colliding. So it was just like kartal, we play kartal and sing. So she was, having this tinkling of the wrist, bangles, and she's singing Krishna's glories. Krishna says in, to Narada Muni, Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti madbhakta tatra tishtami Narada. Krishna says to Narada, my dear Narada, Naham tishtami vaikuntha. I don't live in Vaikuntha. Yoginam hridayeshu. I don't live in the hearts of yogis either. Then where do I live? Yatra gayanti madbhakta. Wherever my devotees are singing my glories, tatra tishtami Narada. That is the place where I live, Narada. So Krishna eternally resides wherever his devotees are singing the glories. So when we sing with kartal and mridangas, Krishna is personally present there. We should know for sure, without doubt, that Krishna is personally present. But when Mother Yashoda is singing the kirtan, how can Krishna not be present? So Krishna, although he was sleeping that time, he woke up, hearing this kirtan, which is imbued with the pure, unlimited love of Mother Yashoda. Krishna woke up and he appeared on the scene. Mother Yashoda was churning the yogurt, and Krishna appeared and he started pulling her sari, indicating that she should stop the business of churning. It was her duty to attend to him first. So Mother Yashoda, when she looked, oh, the child got up so early. So Krishna indicated that he was hungry. So she picked him up and started feeding him the milk from her breast. Now Krishna was walking and he came to Mother Yashoda. That means, Krishna was almost about the age of, few years. He could actually walk. And he could indicate that he was hungry. That means mothers used to feed milk to the child for many years. Not just till the age of 1 year. That is the custom nowadays. They don't even feed till 1 year. In the Mahabharata, there is a reference. There's a reference that mothers used to feed the child milk up to the 7 years age. Till the age of 7, the children would actually climb on mother's lap and they would drink the milk from her. I remember one of the Prabhupada disciples, he was narrating that he would come from the school. He was in the 2nd or 3rd grade. He would come from the school and he would climb in the lap of his mother and drink milk. And, people would just, the family members would just make fun of him. Oh, you are so big, you still want to drink milk from your mom? But he would drink. So, the references are there even in Mahabharata. That, the children would actually drink milk from mother till the age of 7. And that actually makes the children not only physically strong, but they become very much attached to the mother and respectful to the ladies. A person, you will see any human being, the most respect he can give to any woman is his mother. And if a person has developed that, relationship with the mother, he will always be respectful to all the ladies, including the wife or this whole, intense or, disturbed relationships are because children are not taken care of in the childhood. And they develop, because they lack that feminine love and affection from the mother. Therefore, children also become very disturbed in the mind. And disturbed people, they cannot actually really know what to do, what not to do, to whom to respect, whom not to respect. So, Mother Yashoda, she picked up Krishna in the lap and started feeding him milk from her breast. And she was, singing Krishna's glories. And Krishna is drinking milk from Mother Yashoda, with full satisfaction. That time, the milk that was kept on the stove, because in the spiritual world, every object is a living person. So even milk is a living person. We hear from Srimad Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakarasadma Sukalpa Vriksha. Chintamani. So the whole abode of Golok Vrindavan is made from the gems. Like, here we use bricks, stones, gravel, and cement, all these things to construct the home. But in the spiritual world, all the homes are made from Chintamani gems. Every stone, every pebble there is actually a living entity. And a living entity who can satisfy all your desires is Chintamani. Chintamani means a money or a gem which is actually capable of fulfilling all your desires. So every single pebble or stone in Golok Vrindavan is capable of fulfilling all your desires. And not only pebbles or stones, even trees are kalpavriksha. Every tree can satisfy any of your desires. Like I can go to the tree, to a mango tree in our backyard and I ask, give me mango. No mango will come if it is not the season. But even if the season, if I go to mango tree and ask, give me some bananas, no bananas will come. But in Golok Vrindavan, Kalpa Vriksha means the trees who can fulfill any of your desires. Any desire you can think in the mind, they can fulfill your desires. Of course, we should be, so in Golok Vrindavan, everything is actually a living person. So this milk is also a person. It was boiling over the stove and started thinking, well, Mother Yashoda, she's the exalted Vaishnavi, and therefore she has unlimited capacity to feed milk to Krishna. Like ordinary mother, her milk will be finished, after the child drinks. Generally, the children cannot drink sufficiently. But if the child continues to drink, the milk will be finished. And after some time, the milk doesn't come. So, but milk started thinking, Mother Yashoda is a pure devotee, and her capacity to supply milk to Krishna is unlimited. And Krishna's capacity to drink milk is unlimited. So, Krishna will keep drinking, and Mother Yashoda will keep supplying. Krishna will keep drinking, Mother Yashoda will keep supplying. This will never end. That means my existence is useless because Krishna will never drink me. So what is the use of my living? Thinking like this, the milk thought, let me commit suicide. So therefore, the milk started boiling over to come and jump into the fire. And Mother Yashoda, as soon as she realized the milk was boiling over, she immediately left Krishna down and went to attend the milk. Now, one may think Mother Yashoda, she was engaged in Krishna's service. Why she had to worry about the milk? Now, this one has to understand in terms of the devotional principles as taught by Vaishnavacharya, especially Rupa Goswami, explains this particular Siddhanta very well, in his book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Apanchita buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mukshbhi parityago vairagyam falgu kathyate. Falgu vairagya. Falgu vairagya means superficial renunciation. What is superficial renunciation? When I know Hari Sambandhi Vastuna, any Vastu, anything that has relationship with Hari, that means it can be engaged in service of Hari. But what I do? Parityago. Mumukshvi. Basically, I just think, oh, this is all not required, I try to abandon that thing without knowing its relationship with Krishna, how it can be used in Krishna's service. That kind of vairagya is not very much appreciated. If I can engage something in Krishna's service, then I preserve and protect that thing. So Mother Yashoda is thinking, this milk can be engaged in Krishna's service. So she doesn't want the milk to be wasted. So she therefore left Krishna. And this also is explained by Lord Shiva, to Mother Parvati. It says, Aradhanam api sarvesha Vishnu aradhana param. Tasmat paratram devi tadyanam samarchanam. Lord Shiva tells Mother Parvati, Devi, listen, among all kinds of worship, the worship of Vishnu is supreme. Aradhanam api sarvesha Vishnu aradhana param. Supreme worship is Vishnu aradhana. Among all forms of worship, somebody may worship Shiva, Durga, Ganesh, Surya, Chandra, different demigods. But Lord Shiva himself says, best form of worship is Vishnu worship. But he says, Tasmat paratram. But there is something superior to even worship of Vishnu. Tasmat paratram devi tadiyanam samarchana. Tadiya means anything that is in relationship with Krishna. So Krishna's devotees, Krishna's paraphernalia, anything that is in relationship to Krishna, worshipping that is even superior to worshipping Krishna. So Mother Yashoda, following that principle of Tadiya Samarchana, that preserving something that can be used in Krishna's service, she left Krishna to take care of the milk. And she took some water, because you never generally blow on the milk. You never blow on the milk. Even while drinking, you never blow on the milk. So Mother Yashoda, she didn't blow, and there's no like turning the knob and closing the fire. It had the wood stove, so wood is burning. So she took some water and sprinkled on the milk. That's the way to cool down or to make the boiling milk settle down again. So she took some water and threw it on the milk, and milk again went down. So why milk went down? Because milk is a person again. Milk could have continued remission. No matter how much water you put, I'm going to commit suicide. But milk started thinking, Mother Yashoda, she is such an exalted Vaishnavi. She could have continued to feed milk to Krishna. But she left Krishna for my sake, just to protect me and engage me in Krishna's service. She left Krishna. So why I should be so selfish? Actually, if you see Srila Prabhupada, he could have continued to live in Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada could have continued to live in Vrindavan. He was old man. He was the age of 70. He was living in Vrindavan. He was actually having residence in the best place in Vrindavan, Radha Damodar Mandir, right next to Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. He could have continued to stay there. But simply following this principle to engage the living entities who had no access or no connection with Krishna, apparently. They have completely forgotten their relationship with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada left Vrindavan, left his comfort, left his, access to the best place in all of creation, to go to the city of New York, live amongst people who were addicted to all kinds of sinful activities. I mean, I don't know how many of you ever traveled, but even in Mumbai, if you sometimes travel to the place like Dharavi or places where people are not very clean and addicted to all kinds of bad habits, it suffocates. Srila Prabhupada left Vrindavan to go to such place and lived among those people. And not only live among those people, he engaged in the service of these people, cooking for them. And after they would eat, he would just clean. Srila Prabhupada would, when he was living in 26 Second Avenue in the Matchless Gift Store, he would actually cook and clean single-handedly. When everybody would just eat and gone, he would just clean himself. Until one day some visitor said, Swamiji, can I help you? And Prabhupada said, I was waiting for this moment. Somebody asked me if they could help me. And actually Srila Prabhupada engaged so many people who had apparently no relationship or no understanding of their relationship with Krishna. This was exactly the mood of Mother Yashoda. Leaving Krishna in Vrindavan, leaving the wonderful, the place of Radha Damodar Mandir, simply to engage people all over the world in Krishna's service. So knowing Srila Prabhupada's sacrifice, we should not be selfish. We should be willing to extend ourselves to follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda, Srila Prabhupada, and extend this gift, this wonderful gift of Krishna consciousness to everyone. We should not be selfish. So, milk settled down. So Mother Yashoda took off the pot from the fire and kept it down. In the meantime, Krishna, he got really offended. Krishna was thinking, I did not finish drinking milk. I am not fully satisfied yet. Why did my mother leave me? Taking care of the milk is more important than me. Because Krishna is thinking, just like, an ordinary child will think, my mother doesn't love me, she doesn't care for me, she left me, just milk is more important for her. This is how silly children think. The children have that way of thinking. So Krishna is also thinking in the same way. So he's very angry. He got really very angry. So he's looking around. What should I do now? What should I do? So he found a stone. He picked up the stone, and Mother Yashoda was churning the butter before feeding Krishna the milk. So that yogurt was filled in that pot, and the churning rod was inside that pot, and the rope was also hanging down. So Krishna took the stone and broke the yogurt pot. All the yogurt, flowed out and made a whole mess there. And Krishna picked up some butter which was actually on the top of it, started taking it, and with false tears, like crocodile tears in the eyes, he actually sorry, he started eating that butter, and he started walking away, because he knew that I have done some mischief. I have broken the pot. Mother will be coming soon, and I'll be in trouble. So he walked out. He went to the courtyard outside, and there, when he was walking from this place where all the yogurt was spread, he was not very careful. So he smeared his foot, both the feet in yogurt, and he was walking out, leaving footprints of yogurt. Small, tiny feet, yogurt footprints he was leaving behind. Yes, children, right? They don't have the intelligence like a criminal who does a perfect crime, doesn't leave any footprints or fingerprints. Krishna leaving footprints and going to the courtyard. And in the courtyard, he saw there was more pots hanging on the roof, butter pots. And there was also a wooden grinding mortar. Nowadays we have mixies, right? You can put everything in the jar and turn the knob, and everything grinded within a fraction of minutes. Less than a minute, everything is grinded. But in the village setting, they would have a grinding mortar. I remember, in our childhood, we have seen different kinds of mortar, in our home. They used to grind the spices with the hand. There will be a big wooden pot, and there will be a wooden actually hammer also to crush the spices. The chilies and coriander seeds, everything was grounded with the hand. And of course, children don't get to see everything we buy from the stores nowadays. But in the village setting, they would actually grind the spices also with the hand. So I don't know how many of you actually tried grinding the spices with the hand. If you take a small, like everybody has in the home, small mortar and hammer, that you crush sometimes, small things. So if you take some, say, black pepper in that and start crushing them, you'll see this black pepper sprouts out, flows in all directions. Or even if you take some almonds and try to crush them, you'll see some almonds are coming out. So wooden grinding mortar used to be a very scientific, designed, kind of a pot. It would have the broader base and the broader top. The base would be, of course, sealed, but the top would be open. So from there you can drop the spices. But in the center, it would narrow down like this. So it'll be only a very small hole in the center from where the spices can go inside, and the hammer can actually fit there. So they would just hammer it, freely, without much botheration, that the spices would flow out. So this wooden grinding mortar was kept upside down. The base was on the top. So Krishna climbed on top of this wooden grinding mortar and started taking out the butter from the rafters, which was actually hanging from the ceiling. He took out the pot, sat down on the wooden grinding mortar, and a lot of monkeys had, assembled around. So Krishna was feeding butter to the monkeys. Of course, Vaishnavacharya had also explained that Krishna was feeding to these monkeys because he was feeling very much obliged to these monkeys. They had served him. When Lord Ramchandra performed his pastimes, Krishna has appeared as Lord Ram. These monkeys served him so well without any remuneration. So Krishna was feeling obliged in feeding them the butter, reciprocating with them for their service. So Mother Yashoda, she returned after taking care of the milk and she saw all the mess. The yogurt pot was broken. And she saw small footprints going to the courtyard. So Mother Yashoda didn't had much difficulty in understanding. If the child was there and the pot was broken, she would have thought, okay, somebody might have, some monkey might have come out, done something. But the child was missing. So she didn't have much difficulty in understanding this was the doing of Krishna. So she smiled. Oh, the child is showing his temper, So she smiled and she started following the footprints. And when she was walking toward the courtyard, she saw Krishna was sitting actually in the courtyard on the wooden grinding mortar. So on the way, she picked up a stick and she started approaching Krishna. Krishna was sitting, having his back towards Mother Yashoda. But he was conscious of his mischievous behavior. So he was expecting that Mother Yashoda would come anytime. So he was looking this side, he was looking this side, time to time. But he can't see the behind. And Mother Yashoda was approaching him from behind with a stick in the hands. Very secretly, she was trying to approach him. So the monkeys who were sitting and taking butter from Krishna, they saw Mother Yashoda coming with the stick. And they became their eyes big and scared. So Krishna, seeing their eyes and their expression, he could realize, oh, somebody's coming from behind. So he looked behind and Mother Yashoda is coming with a stick. So he jumped down from the wooden grinding mortar and started running up. This is what is being described by Satyavrat Muni also in the very first stanza. He says, Uluk ladhavamanam. He started running, jumping from the wooden grinding mortar, he started running in the fear of Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda, with the stick in the hand, she started running behind Krishna, that you are going to get punishment today. So Krishna was in great fear, running from Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda is running behind Krishna. So Mother Yashoda had a lot of flowers on her, hair. The ladies like to put, gajra or, some flower strings on their hair. So Mother Yashoda also had that, flower gajra in her hair. So the flowers actually started falling from that, gajra. Now flowers are also living entities. And flowers were thinking that Mother Yashoda, she's such an exalted Vaishnavi. She's such a devotee that Krishna is, who the Supreme Lord, is running from her in the great fear. So, we should be touching her feet. What we are doing on her head. We shouldn't be sitting on her head, but we should be touching her feet. So thinking like this, the flowers are falling to touch the feet of Mother Yashoda. The Bhagavatam says, the flowers were just falling, but flowers were thinking in this way, that we want to touch the feet of Mother Yashoda. So Mother Yashoda is running behind Krishna and Krishna is running in fear. And finally, she managed to capture Krishna. Paramishram atyant tato drutya gopya. She could actually capture Krishna, running faster than Krishna. Although Upanishads, they say clearly, Krishna's movement are swifter than anyone else. Nobody can really catch up with Krishna. But in Mother Yashoda, not only she could catch up, but she captured Krishna. And as soon as she captured Krishna, Krishna, seeing the stick in mother's hand, started weeping. Karam bhoja yugmena. He was rubbing his eyes, started rubbing his eyes with his two lotus hands. The tears were flowing from there, and all the black mascara that he was put in the eyes, it actually smeared all over his, around the eyes. And he started pleading, Mother, yes, I have done mistake, please forgive me, I'll never do it again. Because he knew that if he denies, Mother Yashoda knows that he has done the mischief. If he denies, then there will be more punishment. So he agreed, I have done the mistake, please forgive me. So Mother Yashoda, when she saw that Krishna was too much afraid, she thought, this child, it's not at all good if he's too much afraid of me. So thinking like this, she threw away the stick. She started chastising him. You're just like monkey. The whole day you're sitting with monkeys, your mentality has become like monkeys. So Krishna said, well, if I'm like monkey, then I'll go to the forest and live with the monkeys. Mother Yashoda became very scared. And sometimes children, they say, okay, I will go to forest, I'll go away from home. Mothers immediately feel anxiety. Oh, I don't know what this child will do. He might even leave home and run away. Mother Yashoda started thinking in that way. And Krishna is pleading, please, please forgive me. And she said, no, you have done two offenses today. One, you broke the pot of yogurt. That I understand. Children keep breaking the things from time to time. I forgive you for that. But other thing you did is you took the butter from the rafter. You stole the butter. The neighboring lady was telling me that you are stealing, but now you're stealing at home also. You're stealing outside also. So for stealing, I'll give you punishment. She was thinking, today he's stealing butter, tomorrow he'll steal some jewelry, and he'll become a thief, big thief. So in order to correct the child that you should not be stealing, she said, I'm going to punish you for that. And Krishna said, no, please, no. You are going to get punishment for this particular crime. You should not be stealing. Stealing is bad. So I'm going to bind you. I'm going to bind you with ropes. And because this wooden grinding mortar, you climbed on it to steal, he's also culprit. He's also helped you in the stealing. So I'll tie him also with you. So Krishna was screaming, no. So no, you are going to get punishment. So she brought the rope. She tied one side on the wooden grinding mortar. And the other side, she started trying to tie Krishna. She put the rope around his belly and tried to put the knot, but she realized when she was putting the final knot, the rope was a little too short by the length of 2 fingers. Now, you see, when you want to put a knot, you need the other end, the ending part of the thread or rope to be little longer so that you can put the knot. But Mother Yashoda found it was too short by 2 fingers. She said, no problem. She took another rope and tied it to that rope. And then again, she tried to put the rope around the belly of Krishna. And when she was putting the final knot, she saw, the rope is again 2 fingers too short. And Mother Yashoda was not alone. She was having many maid servants and neighboring gopis. When they heard that Krishna is getting punished, they also came to see the fun. But they were thinking always, we are complaining, but Mother Yashoda doesn't punish Krishna, but today she's punishing him. So they came to see the fun. And Mother Yashoda tried bringing more and more and more rope. Every time she put the rope around Krishna's belly and put a final knot, she found it was 2 fingers too short. Now we have to understand one thing here. When you are putting more and more rope, it's not that Mother Yashoda was putting some wraps around Krishna's belly. Okay, 1 more, 2 more wraps. No. Nothing like that. She was just putting 1 wrap around Krishna's belly, trying to put a knot. Krishna was not expanding in size. Rope was not shrinking in the size. And yet, the rope was never sufficient. It was always falling short by 2 fingers. Of course, Srila Prabhupada explained these 2 fingers are very significant. These 2 fingers represent 2 very significant and important things in our sadhana bhakti. Krishna can be tied by the love and affection of his devotees. So 1 finger represents the effort or endeavor put by a devotee. And other finger represents Krishna's willingness to be bound. So we may put effort, but we should know our effort is not that is going to bring results in Krishna consciousness. Krishna's willingness has to be there as well. But these both are important. Krishna's willingness will not come if there is no effort from our part. Sometimes people say, oh, whenever God wants me, I will, start chanting. No, that is all nonsense. I'm not able to chant. When Krishna wants me, I will chant. No, Krishna wants. Krishna wants, therefore he has told in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Krishna wants, therefore he tells in Bhagavad Gita, man mana bhavamat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskar. Become my devotee, worship me, chant my names. He wants us to do that. What else he should do? He should make our lips move and utter and chant. So it is actually foolishness or actually laziness on the part of conditioned souls. They don't want to chant Krishna. They don't want to practice Krishna consciousness. So effort has to be there. And effort alone will not be sufficient. By our effort, Krishna will be pleased. And then only when he agrees that we can get perfection in our Krishna consciousness. As some people, they talk about karma mas, just do your activities. Even God will be forced to give you result if you do activities. No, there's no question of force by Krishna. Krishna's mercy always, Vaishnava Acharyas say, is ahetuki. Krishna's kripa is causeless. It's not that because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna has to give his mercy. No. Krishna is not obliged by anything. You may chant for millions and billions and zillions of birds, and Krishna may still not give his mercy. But by putting our effort in Krishna consciousness, by putting our effort in sadhana bhakti, what we are doing is we are pleasing the devotees of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regular principles, I will take you back home, back to God. So, Krishna is obliged by his devotees. The words of his devotees are obliged by. He has to do it. But not by our effort that Krishna will be pleased. Our effort will please Srila Prabhupada, the Vaishnava Acharyas, and all the Guru Parampara. And when the Guru Parampara is pleased, Krishna is pleased. So that's the way we try to. We are not chanting Hare Krishna to please Krishna and to attract Krishna's mercy. We are trying to chant Hare Krishna to please Guru to please Srila Prabhupada, to please all the Vaishnava Acharyas. So these two fingers are these two finger shortness of by two fingers is very significant. And also, when we are actually chanting Hare Krishna every day, we are practically performing this pastime. We are participating in the pastime of Damodar Leela. How? Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna with the ropes. When we are sitting and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What we are doing is we are also trying to bind Krishna within our heart. Through the ears, we are uttering the name of Krishna through the mouth, and we are trying to hear through the ears. And in this way, we are trying to bind Krishna's holy name within our heart. But when we chant, most of the time we are not able to even hear the holy name. Why? Because of the shortness of two fingers. We are not putting sufficient effort to attentively hear Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, we should be hearing attentively. So that one finger is in our reach. We simply try to hear Hare Krishna attentively. And someday Krishna would be pleased to be bound within our heart. So when we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are actually trying to bind Krishna within our heart. And by the mercy of Guru and Vaishnava Acharyas and Vaishnavas, and ultimately by the mercy of Krishna, one day you'll be able to bind Krishna within our heart. So know for sure, we are actually participating in Damodar Leela on daily basis when we are chanting Hare Krishna. We are trying to bind Krishna in our heart. Following in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda, we are trying to bind Krishna. So continue putting the effort. Mother Yashoda, she started effort to bind Krishna in the morning. And this went on till evening. She went on bringing rope from her own home, from the neighboring homes. All the ropes in the entire Vrajbhumi, they were tied together. And yet, she was finding, till the evening, she was finding the rope was too short by two fingers. So Mother Yashoda, initially she was in an angry mood. She wanted to bind Krishna in anger. And Krishna cannot be bound by anger, because anger is generally the mode of ignorance. Of course, there is no mode of ignorance in Mother Yashoda and Brajvasis. But Krishna wanted to show through this pastime, he cannot be bound by anger. He can be bound only by Vishuddha Sattva, pure goodness, where there is no tinge of good passion or ignorance. So Mother Yashoda was trying to bind him, and she kept continuing putting effort. The gopis started laughing, seeing Mother Yashoda's determination. They were laughing. And Mother Yashoda started laughing. She realized, what am I doing? Since morning I've been trying to bind Krishna. She didn't give up the effort. She was thinking in motherly affection that if I let the child go now, if I don't bind him, he'll think, see, you couldn't bind me. Children do like that. You couldn't bind me, right? And then his stealing tendencies will increase. So he has to be given a proper lesson. So she was determined to bind Krishna. She did not give up the determination. So when she started laughing, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually explains, when Mother Yashoda started trying to bind Krishna, Krishna, who's a Lord of unlimited energies, Parasa Shakti Vividhaiva Sudhite, Krishna has unlimited energies. So Krishna's Aishwarya Shakti became present there. And she was telling Krishna, Krishna, you are my master, you are my Lord, and you are the supreme Lord of all the creations. How can anyone bind you? You cannot be bound. So Krishna was not bound because the Aishwarya Shakti was not allowing him to be bound. All the Shaktis of Krishna, they were standing with folded hand telling, you are the supreme Lord, you cannot be bound. And Krishna was not bound because his energies were refusing to allowing him to be bound. Of course, Krishna is not dependent on the allowance of his energies. Energies are dependent on him. But Krishna is not bound. Finally, when Madhusha started laughing, Krishna's Karuna Shakti. Karuna Shakti means Krishna's mercy potency. She became manifest and she told Krishna, Krishna, your mother has been putting so much effort since morning to bind you. You must be bound. You must comply with her desire. So this one Shakti of Krishna, Karuna Shakti, when she offered this argument that your mother is trying sincerely to bind you since morning, you must be bound. All the other energies became silent. All their arguments that you are Supreme Lord, everything faded away. And Krishna was bound. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. Krishna is the ocean of Karuna. When he sees the sincere effort by a devotee, struggling and trying to, in spite of our condition, we are trying to serve Krishna, we are trying to chant his holy names, engage in devotional service. Krishna's Karuna Shakti invokes Krishna's compassion. So, Krishna was bound. Bound him, and she left Krishna there and went to attend her household work. Now, some cowherd boys, they saw Krishna was bound. He was bound. So they immediately ran to tell Balaram, Balaram, your brother is bound like a cow, like a goat. And Balaram said, Who did that to my brother? Mother Yashoda is bound. So Balaram came in a very angry mood. He came home and he saw Krishna was bound. So first, other friends of Krishna, Madhu Mangal, Subal, they were all there, and Krishna was telling them, please help me to untie the rope. So they were trying to untie. Krishna saying, what are you doing? Are you trying to untie or trying to tighten the rope? Because they were trying to untie, but in the course, they were actually tightening up the rope. So they couldn't untie. Why they couldn't untie? Because the rope was bound by Mother Yashoda, who is in the Vatsalya Rasa. And Gopas, the cowherd boys, they are in the Sakhya Rasa. So Sakhya Rasa, the love in the Sakhya Rasa is subordinate to the love in Vatsalya. So rope bound by Vatsalya Prem cannot be untied by cowherd boys. It can be only untied by Mother Yashoda, Ananda Maharaj, who are in the same Vatsalya Rasa, or it can be untied by Srimati Radharani. Nobody else can untie that rope. So Balaram came and he saw Krishna tied like, with the good and grinding mortar. He started shouting, who has bound my brother? Who has bounded my? Mother Yashoda came with a stick in the hand. She said, I did it. What about it? And Balaram says, don't you know? Don't you know who he is? He is Lord Ramchandra, who actually killed Ravan. He is same Narsimadev. He is same Varahadev, who killed actually Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. He is Parshuram. And Mother Yashoda said, oh, he's Narsingadev. He's Varahadev. He's Parshuram. He's Ram. And who are you? You don't know me? I'm Lakshman. Mother Yashoda said, oh, really? So he's Ram, you're Lakshman. All the gods have got only my home to take birth in. Go away, or I'll give you in beating. Mother Yashoda got angry. She said, go away, or I'll give you in whip. So Balaram, he saw Mother Yashoda in angry mood. He also ran away. And Krishna is calling, please come and help me. So all the cowherd boys also ran away. So Krishna is thinking, I'm stuck alone now. Nobody's going to help me. So all the boys, cowherd boys, everybody went away, and Krishna is there in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, bound with the ropes, with wooden grinding mortar. So Krishna is thinking, well, Mother Yashoda first of all left me, didn't feed me sufficient. I broke the pot, and then she bound me now. So now I should do something more mischievous. This is how children sometimes they behave like an obstinate rascal. So Krishna is also like that, thinking Madhureshwara has bound me, now I should do something even more mischievous. So he looked around and he saw these two trees. Two trees, Krishna could recognize them. They were actually the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera. Probably it's already getting 8:30. Is it okay if we go a little bit till maybe?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Sure. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
No, class was so nice, Prabhuji. That's so we are so immersed in the class. Please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Krishna started recollecting or remembering the history of these two trees. Actually, these were the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera. So these two demigods, they were actually, because they were sons of Kuvera, Kuvera is the treasurer of all the demigods. So he has naturally immense wealth. So being the sons of such wealthy demigod, very influential demigod, these two boys somehow became corrupt. It's natural sometimes the sons of rich man getting corrupt. So these two boys, they went to the heavenly planets and the Mother Ganga, the holy river of Ganga, she's known as Mandakini Ganga in the heavenly planets. So they entered in the Mandakini Ganga after drinking a lot of Varuni drink. Varuni is like an intoxicating beverage, in the heavenly planets. So they drank a lot of Varuni beverage and entered in Mandakini Ganga completely naked, along with the other beautiful ladies of heavenly planets who are also fully naked, in the mood of enjoying like an elephant. An elephant, they enjoy themselves in the water with she elephants. So these two sons of Kuvera, they entered in Mandakini Ganga. People generally go to Ganga with great reverence, to wash off their sins. But these two brothers, they entered in Ganga with the intention of enjoying the sexual union with the girls. So they were enjoying in a completely intoxicated state. And Narada Muni happened to pass by. When Narada Muni was passing by, the ladies, they were not so intoxicated, so they immediately covered their bodies, realizing that they should not be naked in front of the saintly person and continue enjoying the association of men. So they covered themselves immediately. But these two sons of Kuvera, they were immensely intoxicated. They couldn't appreciate the presence of Narada. When they saw the girls were covering their body, they got angry. They were thinking, why this Narada has to come this way? Doesn't he know that we are enjoying here? Why he has to come this way? So they couldn't appreciate the presence of Narada. And they stood naked there, completely intoxicated state. So Narada Muni, when he saw these two brothers, the sons of Kuvera, in such a degraded state, one may think, oh, this is, a great enjoyment. But a saintly person sees this as a degraded state. When you don't even have a shame that in saintly person's presence, you should cover your body. You just want to continue being naked and enjoying. That form of enjoyment in such a gross way, in the presence of saintly persons, is not very much appreciated. So Narada Muni was thinking that this is not good. So Narada Muni, he started considering that these two brothers, because they have so much wealth and they are sons of Kubera, they have become intoxicated with pride. When a rich man becomes proud, he becomes, what do you call, completely insensitive to people around them. Especially a wealthy man who becomes very, puffed up and proud of their wealth and becomes completely absorbed in enjoying mentality, becomes very insensitive to people around him. And sometimes such wealthy people, in the spree of enjoyment, they become so cruel that they start actually hunting the animals. You see, hunting is a sport here in US, which is afforded by people who have a lot of money and time. Generally, people who are struggling from hand to mouth work very hard simply to maintain themselves. They can never think of sporting and going like hunting. Or even wealthy people, they have big golf courses. They can go and play golf, which is still okay. But going for hunting, especially, which involves so much pain to other living entities. So Narmani started thinking, the wealthy people sometimes they actually become so insensitive in their pride that they start hunting, killing poor animals. They drink wine, and they don't realize how much pain the animals have to go through when they are killing them for their enjoyment. Compared to this, poor people are actually much more better off, because poor people, they are forced to many times starve. They don't have sufficient to eat, so they naturally have to starve many times by force. Generally, saintly people, like even our Krishna consciousness movement, we fast on Janmashtami, we fast on Ekadashi days, we fast on Gaur Purnima. But poor people, by nature, they are forced to fast. Of course, we fast only on certain tithis, but Puranas actually explain, you fast on any day, there is always some auspicious tithi. Every single day of the year, there are 15 tithis in a paksha and 30 tithis in a month. So there are actually in every month, every single day, if a person is doing any fasting, there is some benefit associated in the Puranas. So poor people are by nature, because they don't have sufficiently, they're naturally forced to fast. And because they are fasting, they have pain of hunger in the stomach, they can understand others' pain. Just like, a person whose foot is pricked by a pin or a thorn, he doesn't like others to be pricked by the same pain. He doesn't like to prick others' bodies with thorns. So similarly, poor people, because they struggle a lot, they become actually more sensitive and considerate of others' pains. And it's only because of this reason that even the royal kings in the ancient times, they would send their children to Gurukul. Because when the children are trained from the childhood to see the poverty, to live voluntary poverty life, in the Gurukul especially, it's generally used to be poverty. The children had to go out begging for the Guru. And whatever they bring, that would be the income for the Guru. Because Guru would be busy in preparing and teaching them. So children's duty was to go and collect alms for the Guru. So they live in poverty. Whatever they get in begging, that's all Guru eats and that's all they eat. So people used to, even the royal kings used to be considerate. They knew what the poverty is, what the lack of food is, how people in poverty they live. They were never, people, brought up in luxuries. And even in today's day and age, you will find those who are from, sensible, wealthy families, they train their children to be going through voluntary poverty. They don't give them an abundance, everything. Like ordinary people, they give their children all the gadgets, everything, phone, pad, computers, laptops, and all kinds of gadgets. Somebody asked Steve Jobs once, that your home must be filled with iPads and everything. He said, no, my children don't have any of the gadgets. Just imagine the person who invented all these wonderful gadgets had deprived his own children from these gadgets. And therefore, the children actually grow. You see, the children in ordinary households, they have become so dull-headed, whole day sitting on the phone or computer. It's actually an unfortunate situation. So Narada Muni is thinking if these two brothers, if the two sons of Kubera, because they are in luxury, they have become proud. If they are put in voluntarily, poverty-stricken condition, that will make them realize the pain. Because if they are not stopped now, this intoxication and pride will not stop here. They will in the future start killing the animals. They will become insensitive to everyone. Now they are already so insensitive. They are not appreciating the presence of a saintly person like Narada. So Narada is thinking they will become more and more corrupt in the future. So it's my duty to actually prevent them from that corruption, because that corruption will bring immense misery for them. And a person becomes highly corrupt, it actually brings immense misery in their life. So Narada thought, let me put them in a poverty-stricken condition. But by my mercy, they will remember why they have been put in such a condition. So thinking like this, Narada Muni conceived of a curse for these two brothers. People generally think saintly person, they get angry and they say, oh, you rascal, you misbehaving like this, curse you. No. Bhagavatam described this is what Narada Muni was thinking, the welfare of these two brothers, to prevent them from further degradation. So he cursed them that you become the trees, the Arjun trees, for 1,000 years, and at the end of 1,000 years you will have darshan of the Supreme Lord, who will relieve you from this body of trees. So in this way, he actually cursed the two brothers to become trees, and they got the birth in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. They were standing there for a very, very long time. So this curse of Narada was actually a great benediction for these two brothers, because they got to see so many wonderful pastimes of Krishna. They witnessed the pastimes of Krishna in the childhood. It's not an ordinary boon to be able to witness Krishna's pastimes, which were not even bestowed upon Vasudeva and Devaki. These two brothers witnessed those pastimes of Krishna. So Krishna decided, because my devotee Narada, he had compassion for these two brothers, let me deliver them. Because Narada Muni had confirmed that I will deliver them, I must deliver them. Because they have come in the vision of Narada's mercy, therefore they definitely deserve my mercy. So this is actually a very significant lesson. If somehow that we become dear to Vaishnavas, if we come under the vision of devotees' mercy, then Krishna's mercy is guaranteed. It's actually a very significant lesson. In fact, Sripad Ramanuja Acharya, in his final teachings, he left few teachings for his disciples, especially for his whole sampradaya. One of the prominent teaching he said is, try to become dear to a pure devotee of the Lord. Because if a devotee tells you, I am happy, I am pleased with you, that will open the doors to the spiritual world. In fact, Ramanuja Acharya demonstrated from his own life. One time it so happened that Ramanuja Acharya used to tell his disciples, never ask Ranganath Swami for liberation. He always trained his disciples that never ever ask liberation from Lord for yourself or your family or anyone else. Don't ask for liberation. one time, his disciple, his name was Quresh. So the Quresh, he was a very dear disciple of, Ramanujacharya. So it so happened that there were two disciples of Ramanujacharya who were very inimical towards Quresh. They're always hateful and inimical towards Quresh because he was to his guru. So they were always trying to compete and, speak ill about him. So one day when they were speaking ill about him, Quresh felt great compassion for these two because Quresh was a very exalted and pure devotee. So he felt great compassion and he went to Ranganath Swami and he told Ranganath, my dear Lord, I have come to ask for the two boons. And Ranganath would actually talk to the disciples of Ramanujacharya. He would talk to Ramanujacharya and he'll talk to Ramanujacharya disciples also. So Ranganath Swami, he told Quresh, yes, what are the two boons you're looking for? He said, one boon I want is I should go to Vaikuntha. Ranganath said, all right, you will go to Vaikuntha. What is the second boon? He said, I want these two devotees who are always criticizing me and inimical towards me. They should also go right after this lifetime. They should go to Vaikuntha. So Lord Ranganath said, why only these two? Anyone has any relationship with you, Quresh, if somebody is related to you with you in any way, he will go back home, back to God. So that evening when Ramanujacharya came, he went to take darshan of Ranganath, and Ranganath told him, today your disciple Quresh came and he asked me two boons. And Ramanujacharya was stunned. He said, Quresh asked for the two boons. What are the two boons? He said, one boon he asked is that I should go back home, back to God. And Ramanujacharya was, this is so unfitting to Quresh. I have taught all my disciples not to ask this kind of boon from you. Anyway, what was the second boon? Ramanujacharya started thinking that he may be thinking, my wife should also go back home, my children should also go back home, back to God. He said, he asked for two more people to go back home, back to God. Who are the two? His wife, children? He said, no. The two devotees who are always critical to him. He said, they should all go back home, back to God. So Ramanujacharya said, so what did you say, my Lord? I told Quresh, anyone related to you will go surely to Vaikuntha. There's no question of, just these two boys only, but anyone related to you anyway is going to go back home, back to God. So Ramanujacharya, when he heard this, started dancing and coming out from the altar, and he was dancing. So Quresh and all the devotees, they said, my dear Gurudev, what happened? You look so happy today. He said, because today Ranganath told me that anyone related to Quresh will go back home, back to God. And because I am related to him as Guru, I will also go back home, back to God. This is the assurance of Ranganath Swami. So, and of course, later on he asked Quresh, why did you ask for going back home, back to God? And Quresh said, my dear Lord, I want to go before you to Vaikuntha because, you are our Lord and Master. We are not able to serve you. Whenever we go to some place, you see the disciples are not making appropriate arrangement for your welcome. I want to go before you to Vaikuntha so that I make proper arrangements to welcome you there. I will personally look after that you receive a proper welcome in the spiritual world. So just to serve you, to give you the befitting welcome, I want to go before you. So Ramanujacharya was very with his Guru Bhakti. So if we become dear to some devotee or anyway become related to a devotee, Krishna's mercy is guaranteed. So Krishna started dragging the wooden grinding mortar. He was just walking and the wooden grinding mortar, it actually toppled and started, being dragged by Krishna. So Krishna went right through these two, but his wooden grinding mortar got stuck. So Krishna just gave a little jerk and both the trees fell on the both sides of Krishna. it made such a tumultuous sound that could be heard in entire Brajabhumi. So all the Brajavasi, they became scared. Nanda Maharaj had already returned from his work, and he was, being narrated by Yashoda that what she had done to bind Krishna. So he was, he got all the news from Mother Yashoda, but he heard also this tumultuous sound. They all got scared. So he ran to the courtyard and he saw Krishna standing, being tied with the rope, and his two sides were the two Yamalarjun trees fallen. But before they could reach to the side, the other cowherd boys, they were actually seeing what Krishna was doing. They saw that when the trees fell down, the two effulgent-looking demigods, Manigreva and Alakura, they came out of the trees' body. They were looking so effulgent and beautiful. They offered beautiful prayers to Krishna. My dear Krishna, thank you so much for delivering us from trees, and giving us your prema bhakti. Please bless us that we shall never be degraded again, because of which Narada Muni had to curse us. Let us become your pure devotees and never forget you. And Krishna actually blessed them, gave them the benediction. They actually became pure devotees and went to heavenly planets. Now somebody may think if they were delivered by Krishna, they should have gone to spiritual world. But Krishna wanted them to go and liberate many other demigods by narrating these beautiful pastimes of Krishna to them. They are liberated for sure. They are going to go back home, back to Godhead. But Krishna wanted to deliver through them many other demigods. So therefore they were told to go to their abode, and they became pure devotees. When they went to the heavenly planets, they simply continue. Till this day, they continue glorifying Krishna's pastime, because they have become devotees of the Lord. So the cowherd boys, little cowherd boys, saw all of this. So when Nanda Maharaj came, he ran. He was in great anxiety that, oh, the trees have fallen, but fortunately nothing happened to Krishna. So he went, immediately untied Krishna and picked him up in the lap. Because Nanda Maharaj is also on the same level as Mother Yashoda, Vatsalya Prem. He could untie the knot. And then all the cowherd men, they started asking the boys, did you see what exactly happened? And the boy said, yes, we saw. Krishna went through these two trees and the wooden grinding mortar was stuck. And then Krishna pulled it and both the trees fell down. Now these trees were thousands of years old trees, very huge in size. So cowherd men thought, how can that be possible? Krishna pulled and the trees fell down. So somebody else told the boy, you are asking these small boys, these little children. You also should have some common sense. What you are asking to whom? This is something you should be asking children. Ask some adult if he was around and they saw what exactly happened. How can you believe these children? This is actually significant. Sometimes, we think children, small children, what they can know. But the children, they hear Krishna Katha and they repeat Krishna Katha. That is actually perfect, because children don't have any manipulation or any manipulative mentality. They can actually repeat as it is. So these cowherd boys, they were actually repeating what they had exactly seen, but they could not be believed. So sometimes elderly people, they think in that way that for children, they don't have much, they cannot really know what is actually correct, what is not. But children, they can actually absorb Krishna consciousness and repeat, the best ability. So Nanda Maharaj picked up Krishna and he said, he started showing the mock anger. He knew already who had tied Krishna, but he started saying, who's that rascal who tied my son? I want to see who is that rascal. And Krishna was in his lap. He said, it's mother. It's mother. He told in the ears of Nanda Maharaj. So Krishna also behaves, like typically a rascal child, how he would try to create sometime rift between the parents. So the Maharaj said, "Oh, is it so? Mother bound you?" And Krishna said to Nanda Maharaj, "I'm not going to talk to my mother." And Mother Yashoda, she was in so much anxiety. She came, she wanted to take Krishna in the lap. She was so fearful that what if something would have happened to Krishna? So she would take Krishna in the lap, and Krishna, he would turn away. "I don't want to go." So Nanda Maharaj asked Krishna, "Krishna, if you don't go to your mother, then who will bathe you every day?" And Krishna said, "You, father, you will bathe me every day. But who will cook for you? I go to the no, Papa, you will cook for me. Who will feed you? If you don't go to mother, who will feed you? You will feed me, Baba. I don't want to go to mother." So Krishna was showing anger to Mother Yashoda. He would not go to Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda, when she saw that Krishna was not coming to her, she started weeping and crying. And Krishna also, as a determined kind of rascal, he would not talk to Mother Yashoda. One day went by, 2 days went by, 3 days went by. He did not talk to Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda stopped eating. She stopped eating and drinking. She was simply crying. All the time she was crying. At the end of the 3rd day, she was practically collapsed and at the verge of dying, as if the cow without a calf, the cow whose calf has died. She was in such a condition of distress. Somebody told Krishna, Mother Yashoda is in such a critical state. So Krishna ran to Mother Yashoda and jumped into her lap. And as soon as he jumped in the lap of Mother Yashoda was revived. She became fully nourished and happy, by the reciprocation of the love of her son, transcendental son. So in this way, Krishna performs unlimited joyful pastimes to give joy to Mother Yashoda and all the Brajvasis. But this one particular pastime of Krishna, of being bound by the ropes of affection from Mother Yashoda, is actually sufficient to take us back to God. If we can simply meditate on this one pastime, for the rest of our life can be perfect. So with this, I think we will conclude our today's talk. I'm sorry we went almost for 2 hours today. Thank you very much, Shyam Gidhari Prabhu, and also I thank Divyanam Prabhu, who arranged for this, and all the devotees who actually participated in this 4 weeks session on the fasting of Damodar Leela. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's such a beautiful class, and it's a very nicely explained, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And I could not believe that all these 4 weeks, I don't know how all these 4 weeks went like this, in a second like this, and all these sessions are very beautiful, Prabhuji. And we had a very nice virtual association with you in this Damodar month. We're very fortunate. And Krishna willing, Radharani willing, and hopefully we can have your physical personal association in Richmond, Virginia.
I will be looking forward sometime.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. And now it's if anyone has any questions or anything, the comments, let us hear from the devotees, Prabhuji. If that's okay, yeah, I know if you have a few minutes, maybe we can reach out to the devotees if anyone has any questions, Prabhuji, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Now it's we'll open up the questions. Any devotees have any questions or comments?
Okay. Thank you. If there are no questions, I think we can end here. Thank you very much, everyone. And hope this month of Damodar was enlivening for all of you. So, Hare Krishna, and Wish you all the best for the remaining few days of Damodar month. Try to increase your devotional service in these remaining 5 days of Bhishma Panchaka, because that is very the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. Any effort that we increase in this month of Damodar to enhance or to do devotional service, extra devotional service, it's actually very pleasing to Krishna.
Thank you so much, Ajay.
Vancha kalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Prabhupada.
His Grace Shankaran Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.